I'm here to share stories of bravery and moves that leaders, CEOs, and business owners are making right now. One leader and about a 5-minute story. And with me, I have Ali Schwanke. She's the founder and CEO of Strat, which is a content marketing for B2B companies. And I'm just so excited to have you here with me today, Ali. So thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So I want you to talk to me about what is helping you be braver right now.
Yeah, well, right now I think everybody is having to be brave, but for me especially, it's being willing to invest and step out in things that are unknown. Everybody is battling this sense of wanting to know what's next, and I think especially when we invest like our time, our resources, our employees, we want to know that that's going to get us a return. And I don't know that our generation's ever lived in a time that we're as uncertain of what that is. I think the only thing that we're certain of is that if we invest in things like, at-home slippers and pajamas, that maybe those two things are going to be fine for the time being. But, for us, we went through the process of applying for government funding. We had some structure changes in our staff. And so being brave to make those tough decisions during this time and do what's right for the business, as well as take care of people, is definitely challenging.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about moves that you've been making around innovation when you think about being brave.
Yeah, innovation started for us about a year ago, and there's a lot of people that are doing interesting things online. But we, and especially myself, I believe that there's a lot of things that companies try to promote and they try to do online, and they just make it confusing enough that you don't know what they're talking about, that you can't do it. And instead of trusting you to help them, they just kind of go, you know what, like I'm overwhelmed. I'm not going to take a next step. And so we've been working on some tutorial content on YouTube over the last year to help teach people about a specific software in our industry. It's called HubSpot. But taking the approach of I'm gonna comb the internet, and we're going to use some tools to help us identify what are the questions people are asking, what are the ways, what's the sentiment that they're using in the way that they ask them, what's the intent that they have when they're putting that search string into Google, and how do we create content that connects them with this without making them feel stupid. And so we've been doing that for the last year, and it's been just an overwhelming response of that's what people want right now. Yeah. And so continuing to invest in that and realize that innovation is listening to customers, and it's giving them what they want, but also pointing them to what they need, because sometimes they're not the same thing.
Yeah. And I appreciate that about you. Having worked with you, I just appreciate your kind of shoot it to me straight style,
Sure.
Which is so beneficial and people need, because oftentimes you're right, the message is somewhere in there, but it's hard to decipher. So when you think about that, share with us, for you personally, what are maybe a mindset, a behavior, a habit that you really employ when you think about being brave?
I think being brave boils down to what's the worst that's going to happen. This last week, as we're recording this, like the last week of my life was not one of my best ones. We had some pretty challenging things happen in our family, and one of the worst things that could happen did happen. And so but yet in the same time, I'm not talking about someone passing away or losing a life or something like that. So it wasn't the absolute worst, but it was a big hit for us. And so I think when we talk about the mindset, it's saying, remaining focused, not letting myself get distracted, and realizing that if I have challenges being brave, there's probably someone like yourself I need to talk to, that I need to process it in order for me to identify what David Allen and Getting Things Done calls the next step. The next step a lot of times in being brave is identifying one thing. So if it says, if the one thing is I'm going to book, let's say, an executive coach, that is not your next step. Your next step is to research online to develop a list of qualified coaches, and then you contact them. So breaking it down even more is one of those things that helps make bravery a little bit more tangible, and not this like, oh my gosh, I can't do this today because it's too overwhelming.
Yeah. Think about one piece of advice you'd want anybody listening to this to take away.
One piece of advice. That's a good one. I'm going to give the piece of advice that I got from an early employer when I was building my career. And that is that you you make decisions today just like you do with your checkbook. And so he would often say to me, if you tell me that this is a priority to me, show me it on your calendar. And if your calendar does not reflect what you just told me, it probably isn't a priority. So basically that you block time for the things that are important to you. Otherwise they end up getting eaten up by the rest of life.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Just taking time to help us understand a little bit more about what being brave looks like for you, and Simple Strat. So thank you for taking the time. Bravery takes practice, and bravery plus leadership, which Ali is such a great example of, does create a competitive advantage. And so thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.